This glass of wine costs about $18, and it costs about $2 or $3 to make here at Flying Leap Vineyards. But with tariffs from President Donald Trump on wines from the European Union, this glass could go up in price, but maybe not for the reasons that you would expect. Senators Kelly and Gallego addressed a large crowd of concerned citizens who are worried about a potential cut to a program that helps thousands of Arizonans with affordable health care. And while no cuts have been made, Senators Kelly and Gallego tried to listen and encourage citizens to speak out. Well, we're less than a week out from Election Day, and here at the Maricopa County Tabulation Center, election officials are working overtime to make sure that your vote is counted. This is a way for students to not only learn the ins and outs of a growing industry, but it provides Arizonans with another affordable education option. Poor air quality is a reality for many in our state, with some 84% of Arizonans living in areas with unhealthy air. According to one report, Arizona ranks highest for the amount of food that is wasted and the lowest for the amount of food recycled. Another organization, Waste Not, says Arizona throws away $9.5 billion worth of food every year. Today at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport, flight attendants and pilots from United Airlines are taking to the picket line to demand the contracts they say they deserve. Meanwhile, the Trump administration's efforts to deport immigrants without proper documentation continues despite federal pushbacks. Regardless of legal status, economists are now saying that immigrants are more beneficial to the economy and may possibly be the key to saving Social Security. Arizona's wine industry has seen significant growth over the last 2 decades. But could President Donald Trump's tariffs against the European Union threaten to disrupt this growth?
The barrels we buy are imported from France generally, so going to be hit with the EU tariffs there. Screw caps we use, or corks, other folks just same thing. Those are out of Europe. And then in terms of bottles, generally in the industry, they're coming out of Mexico. This glass of wine costs about $18, and it costs about $2 or $3 to make here at Flying Leap Vineyards. But with tariffs from President Donald Trump on wines from the European Union, this glass could go up in price, but maybe not for the reasons that you would expect. Mark Barris, president, CEO, and founder at Flying Leap Vineyards, says that tariffs are the least of his concerns.
The general market problems facing the wine industry are the Mount Everest, and tariffs are the little molehill over here, right? So if you're a winery today, I don't get up in the morning with a concern about the president's tariffs, right? I mean, he's the boss, he gets to make the decision, and if that's what they want to do, okay. But it doesn't really impact me.
But Barris did say that their prices could rise by 5 to 7%. Last month, Trump posted to Truth Social threatening a 200% tariff on all alcoholic products imported from the European Union in response to the EU's proposed 50% tariffs on all U.S. whiskey. While those tariffs didn't happen, tariffs for lower amounts are still being imposed. But Callaghan says that he remains optimistic for the future of the Arizona wine industry.
Arizona wine industry is pretty resilient. And yes, we're in a relatively rough patch for us, having basically, the industry's been on a growth curve for whatever it's been, 20 years basically. So you're bound to see a dip here and there, but I think we'll be able to ride it out.
In Elgin, Leslie Chapman, Cronkite News.
There we go.
Every Sunday at a Tempe park, you'll find community members providing free meals and clothing to people who need it. And week after week, members of New Deal Meal receive warnings and citations from Tempe police for violating the city's special event ordinance.
They came back last week and they cited Ron, and I missed it because I was talking to one of our members and trying to catch up with him.
Ron is Ron Tapscott, a New Deal Meal organizer. This week, Reverend Dr. Tom Martinez received a warning not long before the event wrapped up.
I almost left because it seemed like, the food had been distributed and we were pretty much done. And so, it surprised me that it happened right at the very end.
Members of the group are trying different ways to continue to provide their services without running afoul of city rules, which state that event sponsors receive special use permits. According to a statement spokeswoman from the city of Tempe, New Deal Meal has not applied for a special event permit. But Wells says because they are a private club and they are hosting a private event, this code does not apply to them.
It's basically a way of the city saying, we want to shut you down, but they're hiding behind legalese because they wouldn't look good for the city to say, yeah, we're going to shut them down. Instead of say, we want them to get a special event permit, but that's basically the same thing as saying we want to shut them down.
The city argues that over the past few months, new meal deal events hosted on Tempe Park property have included increasing attendance, most recently by more than 80 people. Historically, events in this location have resulted in unsafe conditions, trash, and items left behind in the park, and environmental impacts.
The receptacles will be relatively full, but we make sure they're not overflowing, and we try to keep it neater, and we take a picture when we're done just to document that. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that we fall within the appropriate guidelines for the city.
Austin Davis ran a similar outreach effort until he was shut down by the city of Tempe. He says that he feels emotional seeing the legacy of his organization carried on.
It's a really beautiful thing, and I'm so proud of everyone who's involved in this project and this mission. People deserve access to basic human rights.
Martinez said he and other faith leaders met with the city on Monday, but they say there is no clear resolution. In Tempe, Leslie Chapman, Cronkite News. Senators Kelly and Gallego addressed a large crowd of concerned citizens who are worried about a potential cut to a program that helps thousands of Arizonans with affordable health care. And while no cuts have been made, Senators Kelly and Gallego tried to listen and encourage citizens to speak out.
The thing we're talking about today actually hasn't happened yet. And I wouldn't say it's guaranteed that it will. I would put it on the high probability list.
Both Kelly and Gallego reiterated that Republicans are aiming to make cuts to Medicare in order to provide tax cuts for billionaires.
All this stuff you're hearing every single day is so they can give a big giant tax cut to people who don't need a tax cut. We could raise the taxes of billionaires and they will still be billionaires.
I don't think they're dumb enough to go after Medicare, but I do think they're dumb enough to go after Medicaid.
In late February, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson suggested that as much as $50 billion a year in Medicaid waste, fraud, and abuse could be recouped.
Medicaid is hugely problematic because it has a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse. Everybody knows that. We all know it intuitively. Everybody is committed to preserving Medicare benefits for those who desperately need it and deserve it and qualify for it. What we're talking about is rooting out the fraud, waste, and abuse. So we want to make sure that illegal aliens who do not qualify are not on the rolls, and we know that they are in many places. We can achieve a lot of savings with that. We can eliminate all these fraudulent payments.
But Kelly and Gallego don't see it that way, saying that the Republicans' plan will have a major impact on Arizonans who will no longer be able to afford going to the doctor and end up going to the emergency room instead, driving up costs.
If we really valued, good access to public health care, this is where we'd be investing it, not necessarily on these billionaires that really don't need it, won't even notice, by the way, this tax cut in the end.
Arizona Republican Representative Juan Ciscomani recently said in an interview with Arizona Public Media that he wants to protect programs like Medicare for the people who need it the most. But Ciscomani, like a lot of Republicans, says he wants to eliminate waste and abuse in government spending. In the newsroom, Leslie Chapman, Cronkite News.